Today's environmental challenges are of an enormous and escalating scale, requiring the conservation community to reevaluate its impact.
For conservation to work, it doesn't work anymore to sort of say, we're going to protect this small parcel of land, this is our park, and everything that happens outside the park we don't care about. We have to think about it at these landscape, at these big scales.
We acknowledge that working one by one is really difficult. We don't have enough resources, we don't have enough time.
But as we amplify the scale of our ambitions, complexity increases, and conservation practitioners often struggle to take their ideas to scale.
The classic example of going to scale is you start with a small pilot project. You work together with your colleagues and came up with an idea that you thought worked to solve a particular problem. How do we get that idea not just working in that one place, but how do we get that idea working in many places? I think there's been in this field a lot of what we might call magical thinking. But if we just do the pilot, everyone will see our brilliant idea, they'll adopt it, and somehow that idea will take over. And a lot of experience has shown us that that's just not true, and that we have to be much more deliberate.
It's not that simple as I'm going to replicate this everywhere. It could be really hard thinking on what are your approaches, how you're going to do, what do you need to do, with whom do you need to do it.
To address these challenges, a learning network was formed to understand how to achieve impact at scale. Together, the partners developed and tested a systematic, practical scaling framework.
This has really provided us with an opportunity and a new lens to think through some of our existing strategies, potential gaps, assumptions that we were making.
So we have thought before on how to scale our work, but without a structure. Having a structure to think about scaling was really like an open door to many great ideas.
Through this learning network, we've spent 2 years trying to think about how to think about scaling, and we've come up with a framework, a way of thinking about scaling that we think is actually fairly useful.
The framework identifies 5 potential approaches that teams can use to scale their work and provides guidance and tools to build these approaches into their strategies.
I've been working in conservation now for a long time, and the results of this work really represent some of the coolest outcomes that I've seen in a very long time. Not only are there very clear conceptual frameworks for getting to scale, there's some very practical tools to help practitioners figure out exactly how they need to incorporate those concepts of scaling into their work. If you can just incorporate those concepts and not worry too much about the details, you're going to be doing better than 99% of the other organizations out there that just are hoping that things are going to go to scale.
The advice I would give to anyone thinking about how to take things to scale is to take some time. If you're not thinking about scale at an early stage, then you run the risk of hitting the limit of your achievable impact very early. You've either wasted time and effort in addressing or trying to apply solutions which are never going to deliver the impact that you're looking for, or you're missing a significant number of opportunities.
The dividends are paid to a great extent during the implementation of the project. You save a lot of time and money over the long term. It's just that you have to make those initial investments.
By adopting this framework, practitioners will find more effective ways to take their work to scale, and funders will be able to support grantees in developing their scaling strategies.
Now when I think back about the work we did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit because if we'd only known what we knew today, we could have been so much more effective and efficient at getting to scale back then. It works in any kind of civil society type of problem that people are dealing with, that if they were to adopt this framework and be deliberate in their scaling, whatever they're trying to do could become that much more effective.
I think it would fundamentally change the way that we do conservation work. I think it's such a fundamental change that it gives me hope that we can accelerate the achievement of impacts in a world that every day gets harder and harder to achieve conservation impacts.
I think this is urgent. This is something that we have no time to postpone.